Welcome back, Outside the Box podcast. This is episode 10, another milestone. The biggest news we've got this week, actually, isn't football related. It's we're missing Loomsy, and we've brought in a guest. So hashtag welcome Max.
Yeah, welcome Max.
We've got Max,
guys, you all right?
avid Chelsea fan on for us this week. So he's going to be recapping a bit of the drama over the weekend. But we're going to kick off with Ben taking us through the prediction recap, because there's been a slight change in the point table, but not too much.
Loomsy's extended his points at the top with 116 points. Ted's pushing his way up to second with 97. I'm on 95 and you're on 91, Louis, so it's just a race for second at the minute, really.
Yeah,
Loomsy's smashing it, to be fair.
I know, he is propping up the table here, but yeah, we're going to move on to the Premier League recap. We've had a couple of interesting games, not the biggest games of the weekend, and a couple of 0-0s. But I want to kick off with Leicester Palace, because I know Ted is very, very, very passionate about this one.
Just not good enough, is it? Obviously, Puel's gone, and we'll discuss that in a bit more detail later. But performance was just like, it just keeps happening to us. Like, we're dominating teams, and the first time they come forward, we just couldn't see. It just can't keep happening.
Shambles at the back.
Ted was fuming in the group chat, by the way.
if it happens once, like every now and then, like you dominate a team and they get a bit lucky, then fair enough. But you can't lose 4-1.
No Danny Simpson and no Wes Morgan. That's the problem. I've been saying it for weeks.
Oh yeah. What title winning defence?
Nah, I feel like it's quite shocking. Like, with your defence, Harry Maguire, Johnny Evans, I feel like them two are both solid, organised. We'll keep them.
Yeah.
I just think the pairing at the minute is just so odd. Like, it doesn't seem like no one can usually get two centre backs to play a couple of games together, and they start to get some sort of chemistry, but it's just not seeming to really happen. So,
especially with them two as well, I feel like they're the kind of two where you were looking at them and you're thinking, outside of the top six, they'd be a really solid.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
But I'm not really sure what's going. It literally looked like every single time Crystal Palace were going forward at the weekend, they were going to score.
No, they did. They had 4 attacks.
Looked threatening, very threatening. That's right.
Yeah.
Why is it they played? It was Chilwell injured at the weekend.
Yeah, he was.
Okay, yeah.
So Fuchs had to play, and he's leaving at the end of the season. Like, he's in the the autumn of his career, as they say. So he's not quite got the pace anymore. But yeah.
Do you think he'd leave if Chilwell left as well? Because I know obviously he's obviously getting older now anyway, so he is going to have to be leaving at some point. But
his contract's
surely he's
up.
pretty.
I don't think we've offered him a new one, so I don't think it's up to him really. I think if Chilwell left, we'd probably be looking to get someone else in.
Another
definitely.
two in.
Where do you think Chilwell would go, just quickly?
City.
Man City, yeah.
Do you think?
I genuinely think
so, yeah.
it's such a likely one to happen, because Mendy keeps getting injured so much, and like Danilo's just not actually really that good.
Yeah, they need to fill the squad out with English players.
So
as well.
And I've heard that Guardiola's really interested in signing a lot of young English players this season.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
He's got
in some.
potential, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but we're not going to let Maguire and Chilwell go, surely.
I don't know if we have
I don't know.
a
I
choice.
don't think he's stopping.
Don't pay that back to me next season.
Exactly, yeah. But it depends on how much money they're going for as well. Because you can't turn down an offer. If someone's going to come in for Maguire, it's going to be big money.
Oh,
so
I'd say you're going to get 60 or 70 for Harry
I'd say
Maguire, and
60,
you'd get about
yeah.
50 or something for Ben Chilwell as well. So
They were linked with a 50 mil bid in the summer. So
imagine thinking, like, obviously you'd love them to stay, but you're not going to turn down over 100 million for Harry Maguire and Ben Chilwell, are you?
You can't.
Realistically,
I'd prefer them to stay than have the money, though. Personally.
they're not going to want to stay in the Championship anyway.
Fighting talk. Yeah, so we had another result, Cardiff-Watford, 5-1.
Yeah, he smashed it.
Gerard Deulofeu with a hat-trick and Troy Deeney with 2.
Yeah.
Adding himself to the list of players that you're never going to get in like the pub quiz hat-trick names.
No. But cracking result.
Oh, yeah.
And Loomsy would love that because he also hates Cardiff.
Yeah, he does.
But
he also hates Zaha, and he scored twice against Leicester, so it's a
Very
good job
true.
he ain't here, because he'd be going through the roof.
That's why he's not here, by the way.
Yeah.
But I feel like that game against Watford's not the end of the world for Cardiff. I mean, I know they're obviously 17th at the minute, which isn't great, but they seem to be getting enough results in the games that they should be getting the results into.
Yeah, they've had some good results recently. Who was it 2-0 against? Oh, I can't remember, 2 weeks ago, but
Yeah,
playing
doing
well, to
well.
be fair.
They should have had
Bournemouth.
a Stonewall penalty
That's
as
it,
well. Did you see the penalty that they
wiped
should
him
have?
out, didn't they?
It
Completely
was
wiped him out.
so obvious.
The only thing is it seems like Huddersfield and Fulham are pretty much guaranteed to be going down now.
I think
Yeah.
they're done for. I thought Fulham would pull through with the kind of signings they brought in, like Ryan Babel, stuff like that. But I mean, they're just defensively so weak. Do you know what I mean, they let goals through.
It doesn't seem like they're going to be getting another manager in as well to get a little manager boost. And like Ranieri's not particularly implementing anything that you were hoping to see from him.
No, and they're 8 points adrift. And
And taking Sessignon off at half time as well. I mean, he's not really giving him a chance to perform, is he?
Yeah.
Great young prospect. And,
I hope he stays in the Prem because he needs to learn and get better in the Prem.
He does, yeah.
But then, I mean, Cardiff, Brighton, Southampton, Newcastle, they're all kind of teams at the minute that you would say would maybe not go down, but one of them kind of has to, really. Because Burnley are probably going to keep on getting results now, I'd expect. Palace are obviously scoring goals when they need to. So one of them 4 teams is going to go down, and they're all kind of getting all right results at the minute.
I think it's going to be a proper scrappy one towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Really, really scrappy at the bottom.
I think it stays the same as it is at the moment. I think Southampton, Fulham, Huddersfield go down.
Do you think?
Yeah, I would have.
I think it's going to be between Cardiff and Southampton. I think it might break up a little bit.
Well, Southampton didn't get the best result of the weekend as well. Didn't even. I know it's a tough one going to the Emirates, but
after beating them 3-2 at home as well.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
it's Southampton, Fulham next week, isn't it? So
that's a big game.
I quite like the Southampton manager. He seems like quite a passionate guy.
Spurs.
They just don't want to be in a title race. I've come to the decision that Spurs just like playing not under pressure. So third place is just perfect for them at the minute. They don't have the worry of if we don't win then we're out the title race, and they're also not necessarily going for fourth. It just seems like they do not have the bit of bottle in them that they need.
No, they don't like drawing games at all.
No.
And Ben's tipping them to not draw for the whole season.
And 11 more games to do it. But I looked at the Spurs team when they were playing Burnley, and they had a good team out, with Kane back and Eriksen. Yeah. I thought they'd win that game. So it's crazy. They've had a worse team for lots of other games and pulled through.
It just I think with Spurs, it's one of them where you're not very confident. The second they lose one of their key players, you don't back them to go and win. And even if they've got all their key players out there, sometimes they're very inconsistent. Yeah. But at the same time, I can't see them finishing anywhere other than third.
Burnley haven't lost at home since the 26th of December, to be fair.
Yeah, they hit Burnley in a bad time for them because Burnley just hit form.
Oh yeah, I think Spurs did well over the kind of Christmas period though. With the players they lost, obviously on to the Asian Games or whatever. Harry Kane out injured, Ali out injured. I think they've got a few good results.
Yeah, definitely. They've shown that they don't necessarily have to have Kane. That they've got other players as well.
Yeah, it is just that inconsistency, and I don't think Spurs fans will be unhappy with the team at all. I think third is very realistic for Spurs at the minute.
Yeah, they're happy with top 4.
Spending no money, definitely, and moving into their new stadium next season, they'd definitely want Champions League football in that stadium.
Have to have it.
Yeah.
They have to spend money this summer, though, I think, because especially with Chelsea getting the transfer ban, Arsenal are obviously not necessarily really even a top 4 side at the minute. They'd be happy with 5th. So, I feel if Spurs are to spend the money that Chelsea obviously can't, they should really be pushing to consolidate themselves to top 4 for next season.
I think they've proved they can get third place fairly comfortably at this stage, and I think if they invest well, then they should be pushing for title next season.
Yeah, it just it depends because I don't think they'll be making marquee signings. Might just be depth wise for the Champions League again.
Spurs' marquee signings is Kane not leaving though, and Eriksen not leaving. Do you know what I mean?
True, but I mean they can't be putting down on the table anything more than the 2 figures because their cost the stadium costs so much. Yeah.
Well, you could see Maddison, Grealish, them kind of young players that Pochettino can kind of nurture. You could see them making signings like that, maybe 25.
Through, definitely young prospects about the.
I think they'll only go for
range,
Madison would be perfect for
only
Spurs,
if Eriksen leaves. I think they'll go for him.
Yeah,
they're too.
So I hope he stays.
But I do feel if Eriksen was to leave, Madison's the obvious
prime
one to go for.
Yeah.
How much can you go for? Cost-wise, I think. 50
well, we bought him for 25.
He's at least doubled it, I'd say.
Especially going to Spurs. Yeah. 50 is probably around the rough mark.
So we'll just sell.
Levy would probably get a good deal for him. He'd probably get it for about 40 because it seems like he just gets the way that he wants.
He's a good businessman.
Yeah, really good businessman. So, but hopefully Eriksen stays. I'd like Maddison to stay at Leicester at the minute, and I'd like Eriksen to stay in the Premier League. So
yeah, agreed.
I'm sure you'd rather Maddison at Spurs than Eriksen though at the minute.
Oh yeah, definitely. Might definitely help us out of it.
United Liverpool 0-0. Not the greatest game, but
more substitutions than shots, weren't they? Really.
Yeah, at least United show they can hold Liverpool.
It really broke up the rhythm of the game. It made the game feel so much longer and drawn out because as soon as somebody had came on, they'd play a few sloppy passes when they weren't getting into it didn't feel like you were watching United Liverpool because there was so many just lazy lethargic balls and
standard
stuff like
football wasn't amazing, to be fair.
It was just not very intense. You wanted some big tackles going in, the crowd getting up. The crowd the atmosphere was great, but the football didn't match it at all.
I know.
Yeah, the atmosphere at Old Trafford was really
good,
impressive. To be fair, do you see Gary Neville saying that he said he thinks there'd be a mutiny at Old Trafford if Solskjaer wasn't appointed manager next season.
Yeah.
Because realistically, the players are so happy and the fans are loving it. Like,
He's
you
proved out what
can't
he's
not...
doing, yeah.
You've literally got to look at it and think, on what grounds would they say, I'm sorry, we're not appointing you next season? What do they have to back that up and say, oh, this is why we're not doing it? There's literally, you can't point to anything.
Yeah.
He's pretty much done, arguably, spot on exactly what they brought him in to do.
I think because of the legend he is, like I say, if there's another manager that came in and had the same results as him, if they sacked him and got a new manager in, it'd be acceptable. But him being the legend he is, it would be like, say, uproar. I mean, like, why are you sacking him? What's happening?
Connection with the fans.
You can't
as well.
throw it into Solskjaer's face as well. He's won the Champions League for them and stuff.
We said last week, we were saying that if they brought in a new manager and he didn't perform, and then everyone thinks, well, Solskjaer was the one that got away. Well, why didn't we just keep him?
So if there's somebody was to come in and then they sacked him, Solskjaer's not obviously going to be available then, is he? Because they're not. You're not going to go back. You're not kind of just there whenever
It's
they
not a
need you.
puppet, yeah.
So.
No, agreed.
But the Michael Owen thing as well. As they're walking out from the second half, he's saying if he was Klopp, he'd be telling him to be kicking Rashford on his bad ankle and stuff like that. I'm not being funny, Owen, but
Loom said, for a player whose career was literally ruined by injury, why would you say something like that? I don't think he doesn't think before he speaks sometimes. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a pundit, but I just think some of the things he says are just ludicrous.
I think
sometimes.
most of the things he says are ludicrous, to be fair.
he's just either boring or being controversial.
Yeah,
or just stupid.
he's just walking soundboard, isn't he? Really, of stupid football quotes. But.
Some of the quotes.
But United in a bad way now. I mean, Liverpool losing Firmino at this point is really bad for them as well because they're needing him at the minute because they weren't looking very convincing. They didn't look like a team that was pushing for the title against United, really.
Oh, and Salah against the top teams as well.
Yeah, we'll get onto that one later.
In a bit.
But no, Firmino, what does that mean? Sturridge or Origi starting now, it makes it harder for Salah because they play so many balls through Firmino.
Oh yeah, he's the key man in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? He's one that links up all the play, the front three. He's just crucial.
Because Mane and Salah are obviously both with wingers, but more than anything, they end up becoming a front two, and Firmino's dropping in as playing kind of like a centre forward.
Yeah, definitely.
But obviously the injuries are much worse for United because now then there's no chance they're going to be doing much again in the Champions League against PSG.
And Matic is a big one as well. He's out for another month. He wasn't even in the game. So all those injuries in the game and Matic and Pogba suspended. He's going to be
going to play Scott McTominay by himself. That's
he's old for lady, isn't he?
Lingard will be out for a while because obviously if you're injured and then you come back, you injure yourself again.
Pereira will play. I think McTominay and Pereira though against like Verratti
and potentially Sanchez, Lukaku, and then who's the third one up top? Because
Mata's injured.
Martial might be back actually because he wasn't on the bench. Was he?
I think he'll be back just about. Yeah.
So
really
Martial, Lukaku, Sanchez as the front threes, not really got the same counter-attacking effect as Rashford, Martial, Lingard.
There's the test of character for you though that they've been asking for Solskjaer. Can he do it? I think it's a hard one as well because it is kind of out of his hands. So if he's not getting the results, but he's playing pretty much his bench or his reserves, it's a bit unfair to question him on it. But at the same time, you can see what he's done with the full squad. Definitely. So I think it's hard to question him. But we'll move on to this week's predictions. A couple of good games. We've got 2 game weeks worth as well. And I'm going to kick it off quickly by pipping us to beat Brighton 2-1.
That's what I put as well.
We always win the week after we sack our manager.
Yeah, exactly. So. Shakespeare or whoever it is comes in, just makes a difference.
I've got 2-1 as well.
It'll be useful for you as well because whoever comes in as a caretaker manager can kind of just be like to the players, you play where you want to play or you kind of do the thing that you want to do. So it makes them kind of, I'm going to prove that this is the position that I want to play rather than on the left where Puel was playing me.
I think he'll ask the backroom staff what they think, do you know what I mean, what the mistakes that Puel was making, and I think he'll just make some minor changes to it and just kind of G the team up a little bit.
Just don't play Gazal. Damari Gray, Harvey Barnes, Jamie Maddison behind him. Jamie Vardy's just the obvious option.
But it's obvious to so many people except Puel, so hopefully we just do what's sensible.
If that's how we line up this weekend and we win, there's no more proof. There can be no question as to why he's been sacked at all. I don't think.
So we all gone 2-1 Leicester.
2-1.
Yeah. Arsenal Bournemouth 2-0 convincing.
I've gone 2-1 Arsenal.
3-1.
3-0. Bournemouth away from home don't really.
That's true.
Yeah.
Liverpool Watford. I got 3-0.
I've gone 3-1.
I've gone 2-1. I think it's going to be
2-1.
Watford are doing very good at the minute, and considering they scored 5 last week, I wouldn't knock them to score.
Well, I don't think they've got the edge just to beat Liverpool at home.
Yeah. I just think Liverpool at home are just a completely different level. And we said this last week as well. So
I've gone 3-1, but Liverpool obviously they don't seem to score quite as many goals at the minute. So
no, well, 2-0 in the last games against Bayern and Man U.
But then I kind of feel like they're going to need to kick on and get a goal now. And Watford, after scoring 5 the other day, their players are going to be quite confident. So wouldn't be surprised if they picked up 1 goal maybe.
City West Ham 3-0.
3-0.
3-0.
3-1. West Ham winning 3-1 against Fulham. I think Antonio will get a goal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I like Antonio. He's a good player.
Antonio, I was looking at how many goals he scored the other day, and his goal to game ratio is not that great. But considering he was playing right wing back for so long, he's actually got quite a good conversion rate. Really,
he's a good, useful player to have as well because he's so versatile. Like he can do a job pretty much anyway. Like up front, on the wing,
he's got good physical
fullback.
strength.
Yeah,
he's one of them big lads as well. Where even though maybe he'd rather be playing down the middle, if he's attacking the back post, he can still kind of get his head on it, and
100%.
he's quick enough to be a winger. So
Very versatile.
Chelsea Spurs.
I've gone 10-0 Chelsea. I've gone Kepa's going to decide to play up front and change it about.
Yeah, what formations Kepa?
He's going to bring Sarri on. We're going to talk about that in a bit as well. I've gone 2-1 Spurs.
I've gone 2-1 Chelsea. I think after the way they played against City, they should have a bit of confidence, even though they lost.
Yeah, I think
but who's going to start in goal? All right, we'll talk about that later.
I just think it would just be an absolute mess at the minute in terms of communication with the manager, and it's going to set every other player off. And the only person that's going to come and play well against Spurs is Hazard. That's my.
I was going to
prediction.
say Hazard will definitely score.
He's got
Top
play,
6 Spurs. It's just ticking all of Hazard's boxes.
Kane does look
got to play
goal.
Hudson-Odoi though. Do you know what I mean? Being a Chelsea fan, all the Chelsea fans are calling for him to be playing. He plays so well when he plays.
Every time they pan to a shot of him sat on the bench, just looking so miserable. I feel so bad for him.
I feel so bad.
It's like
so bad
Pedro's the player playing over him as well.
Yeah.
It's like he's not doing.
Pedro in his prime, a great player, but he's just past it now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be playing as much of the game as he plays anyway. So even if you're gonna not give Hudson-Odoi quite as much game time as what everybody wants from him, Pedro doesn't have the legs to be playing as much as he's playing anyway.
60 minutes with legs, do you know what I mean?
So bring Hudson-Odoi on at like 50, 60 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's like yesterday he brought him on in the 78th minute. I'm like, it's 12 minutes left. I mean, they might have scored him. We might not have done extra time to waste. You know what I mean?
He's so direct as well. Like you might as well gamble on bringing him on because he's going to pick up the ball and just run at the defender.
The 60-minute mark, I think, is prime for a player like Odoi.
Yeah,
but at the same
10
time,
minutes to get into the game.
Definitely. But I think he should be starting anyway.
He'll be gutted now as well with the potential transfer embargo. Obviously, if you get it overturned, then that opens up a little bit more freedom for him. But if he ends up staying another season and not getting any game time, he'll be absolutely devastated.
It's like a make or break career moment, and he'll look. You'll only ever look back on it and think, how did you just not let me go?
Yeah.
But
then again, equally, you getting that transfer ban could actually make him get more game time because
I think so. I'm actually too displeased about it, to be fair, because at the end of the day, we've got so much young talent that needs to be played. We've got 42 players out on loan. That's pretty stupid. I mean, I think apparently what I've heard is that there might be a chance that we get this summer transfer window and then the next 2 we get banned for.
That would make more sense because it's not. It doesn't put you so in the ground, you know what I mean? It gives you a chance.
I'm sure Chelsea could sue against it if it was that, because that's so immediate. Do you know what I mean?
You've got the appeal when you appeal, the ban gets lifted while the appeal process is going. So usually the way that they do it is they time the appeal so that you'll at least have a few weeks at the beginning of the transfer window to sign somebody else.
Spend about £600 million.
I was going to say, I better believe.
I'll get banned for the next 4 years.
Abramovich is going mad.
Well, imagine if Hazard leaves and you can't sign anybody to replace him.
I don't think he will leave though. I've heard that there's rumours in the papers that he's staying. I know Fabregas thinks he's staying as well, so I've got faith he'll stay.
I'd like to. I obviously don't want to see him leave, but I don't know if Madrid's just too.
He's been there for so long, though. You'd hope he'd have that bit of loyalty to Chelsea. You know, in the same way Griezmann did with Atletico, where he's like, I'm not leaving because they can't sign anybody to replace me at the minute.
Definitely.
But equally, Hazard needs to win a bit more.
Yeah, I think it's just a massive appeal for players living in London, like capital of England. It's a great place to live, and I think their families obviously like living there. I know Hazard's family are happy there, so hopefully he'll stay.
Fingers crossed. I really hope he stays. I love Hazard. That pen the other day, just again, we'll finish the Chelsea note. Just everybody can have a little recollection of that Hazard penalty.
Wow, he's got the biggest pair of
balls
in the Premier League. But yeah, we'll move on to the weekend's fixtures as well. We've got the North London derby. Again. Come on, 1-1 draw. I've gone for
big couple games for Spurs.
Yeah, hard little week for Spurs.
Make or break. I reckon 2-1 Spurs. Like Kane's back and he just loves playing against Arsenal. he's always up for that game.
I've gone 2-1 Spurs, but I watched about 6 games this week and I was expecting loads of goals, and I think I only seen about 4.
Just 0-0s everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 3-1 Spurs. I think Spurs will do a convincing win over Arsenal.
Yeah.
If Spurs do lose both of the games, that will actually put them in quite a dangerous place. It'll make the whole of the top 6 so much closer.
Reshuffle, yeah.
So
Providing everyone else gets the results, especially considering they're playing Chelsea and Arsenal, that we were below them. Bournemouth City, what do we think?
3-1 City.
Yeah, I've gone 2-0 City.
I've gone 2-0.
I've gone 4-0.
But Bournemouth are good at home, though, to be fair. So
Yeah, I think they'll just take it to them.
And then Merseyside derby as well as the last game.
yeah.
3-1 Liverpool, I'm going
And it's
with.
probably going to be 0-0, isn't it? Because
Another one.
all that happens. I've gone 2-1 Liverpool. but-
I've also gone 2-1 Liverpool.
I'm going 1-1.
Ooh.
Hopefully something hilarious happens again. That Origi goal. I'd be devastated if
Oh,
I did
so
that.
bad for Pickford, mate.
Devastated.
Yeah.
We also had the Champions League this week, and there was a couple of interesting games. I want to start off with Atletico Juve, because I think Atletico played really, really, really good football that game.
So what I did that day, which was obviously the right way of doing it, was watch the first half of Juventus Atletico Madrid, watch no goals, see how good the City game was, flip over to the City game, miss both of the goals in the Atletico Madrid game, and then just catch the last couple of goals at the end of the City game. So my analysis is not the best today.
Otamendi red card. He's just
Yeah, it was. You didn't need to make that tackle.
silly one. But they've got 3 goals away from home.
And they've got so many
They
defenders.
did unbelievably
I know.
to win that game from being 2-1 down with 10 men. That Sane free kick.
I'd be getting to the point
So
if I was
nice.
Sane, though, where I'd be like, what else am I doing to not get picked now?
Yeah, I can't believe he didn't start at Wembley either. It's
Yeah, I know,
like
'cause-
he didn't play in midweek, so I thought he's going to be fresh for this game.
Yeah, 'cause I think if he played yesterday, I think he would have taken it to us and perhaps nicked a goal. So
Yeah, I think
He's-
quality.
I kind of can't get my head around the fact that they've got 2 massive games in a row, and he hasn't started either of them.
Mm.
Because obviously, there was a thing at the beginning of the season, Guardiola was like questioning his attitude, so I don't know how far that goes into play with it, but he's so good. Every time he comes on, he's electrifyingly quick and so good on the ball.
brilliant touch, finishing out of this world. Like
He literally is the real deal. Like he's the whole package pretty much for a winger. So
at a young age.
At least he knows he'll never not get picked for Germany again.
yeah,
Because that was the stupidest decision I've ever seen in my life. A couple of 0-0 draws again. Lyon, Barca and Liverpool Bayern.
Yeah, I know. I don't know
Not
what's
too much going on in
I think
in
Leon
them
played
games.
well defensively.
Yeah, they
so-
did. They did.
Yeah, I think they're on a good young side. Bit disappointed with Liverpool though. Everyone seems to be really confident that they're going to go through, but
They had a makeshift defensive there, didn't they?
yeah, I'm not that confident. Without
I-
Van Dijk, they looked at C at the back. Kind of Fabinho had a great game, but
Yeah, and I understand if they go there and nick an away goal, it does make sense. You would back them, but at the same time, the Allianz isn't the easiest place to go and get a result, especially in
no
the Champions
Firmino
League.
potentially after he got injured the other day.
they,
And they didn't really create that much
No.
against Bayern. Well, they didn't look like. I was never really thinking Liverpool are definitely going to score here.
No.
It just kind of looked like the game was just going towards a draw.
and that suited Bayern.
Well, you look at clear-cut chances. Liverpool had one and Bayern had none. So
Yeah,
It wasn't
It was
the
a
best game
boring
to watch.
game,
to be fair, yeah. But yeah, Champions League is hotting up. Second leg fixtures are going to be very, very, very naughty to watch.
It's quite
Yeah.
interesting because there's quite a few games where you're pretty sure that one team's going through, but then equally at the same time, you know that it could get flipped on its head. Because
That's- I
even
mean-
the Spurs Dortmund one,
Yeah,
it's like 3-0. You're like, Spurs are definitely going through. But then you think Spurs conceded 2 against Burnley at the weekend.
yeah, I know.
and Dortmund are still on fire as well. We're going to talk about Sancho later.
Dortmund finally won as well, so kind of getting themselves out of that rut.
Yeah, exactly.
After the
Start
weekend.
going again.
Even Madrid.
yeah.
Well, I think you look at it, you'd say you struggle to see anything other than Barca going through. You struggle to see anything other than City going through. Like you said, Spurs. But at the same time, round of 16 is always full of a couple of shock leg twos. So we'll have to see.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
pretty
Juve-
sure PSG are going through.
Yeah, PSG I think's done, but
I think PSG can actually wipe the walls with United.
yeah.
Do you think
I think it'd be
Could be
6-0
like a-
could get to an embarrassing
Yeah,
it could
rugby
be like a
score?
4-0,
I think
yeah.
so.
If Cavani and Mbappe are playing, like even without Neymar,
Oh,
I'd
mate,
still be
Mbappe's
worried
so
for
good.
them.
I mean, Di Maria's up for that, isn't he? So
Lindelof was hobbling about at the weekend as well, holding his
God.
knees and things. So
I'm gonna have to get the call off
Super-
Ollie. I'm gonna have to
Ollie's going to have to
get
bring
drafted
himself
in.
on. Super sub.
Yeah,
What, a
he's
centre-back?
last minute winner.
Phil Jones and Chris Smalling away at PSG will be frightening if you're a
Mm.
United fan.
Yeah.
Like, terrifying. Especially if Ashley Young's playing right back, because he's a bit of a calamity as well.
Pray for Man United.
Yeah, I think Juve is going to be a big test. Like, if it won't be acceptable if Juve go out in this round.
No.
Like,
And it is a tough draw for them, but at the same time, when does Cristiano Ronaldo go out of the Champions League in the round of 16?
yeah.
Just
2-2, I reckon, on aggregate, and then extra time, I couldn't tell you, but usually
Ronaldo takes his shirt off after
Franz
scoring a
steals it
penalty.
with a 10-foot leap and scores a goal at the back post.
doesn't do anything all game, scores a
Nah.
pen and then makes all game.
I heard
what
that
it
Actually.
Allegri could be going there if they get out.
Really?
Ted
Got
thinks
time.
Leicester are going to go for him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think
What,
Allegri's
Ronaldo?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah, we're
either
in
of them,
talks.
mate, either
Yeah,
of them.
Well, get both, why not?
Let's move on to the big one.
Sorry, Allegri leaving if Juve get knocked out though?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I think Zidane's going. I think Zidane's destined for Juve.
I think Zidane's
Yeah.
destined for Juventus.
I think so.
Yeah,
Because I feel like Zidane's style of play is basically everybody else is in such awe of how good of a player he was for the club that he's at
Yeah.
that they kind of I don't know the kind of job he'd do at a team that he wasn't at before. So I don't know how well Solskjaer would do if he went to Spurs.
Yeah.
But because he's got that connection to United, it
I think
makes
so. Yeah. The boost he going. Playing under Zidane is amazing. I mean, the feeling would be
Yeah.
amazing. He's one of the
Legend.
best players ever to play football.
And he could headbutt you at any moment, so you wouldn't get on his bad side.
Imagine if you're an attacking mid learning under Zidane. Like,
Yeah, Dybala.
Everything
Crazy.
amazing.
Yeah, as if he needs any more help as it is. The ball is a joke. But yeah, no, let's move on to the big one. The reason we brought Max in, City win on penalties. Raheem the Dream takes the spotlight,
Off the
takes the
ball.
papers
Oh,
again.
leave it out. Jeez.
3 incredible penalties in that penalty shootout. The
Yeah,
Azpilicueta one,
oh,
Sterling
oh,
and
yeah.
Hazard. They were 3 of the best penalties I think I've
I
ever
think the
watched.
Aspi penalty is one of the best I've ever seen.
Perfect.
That's what I said when I
Top
first saw it. I said that's
Yeah.
honestly probably the best penalty I've ever
I
seen.
mean, I was sat right behind the goal when he smashed it in. It felt like it hit my face. I mean,
Before it all went wrong.
yeah,
No.
I mean, to be fair, from the first one, Jorginho, because he took the same penalty that he took against Spurs in the semi-final, which I was at as well, and it worked well then. But you can't do 2 same penalties, and I think in a final you've either got to place it right in the corner or you've got to smash it. Do you know what I mean?
You don't want to make yourself look like a fool by doing that.
Yeah.
That
Pass
type
it
of
to him,
penalty,
yeah.
the only way that it works is if you send the keeper the wrong way.
Yeah.
Even if he stays on the middle, the ball's going that slowly.
That's
He could
what
have
he
just
did.
leant over and
That's,
picked.
that's what he did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
He waited till he hit it to dive.
I mean, Kepa staying on. I think he did well. He should have saved the Aguero one, obviously. I don't think he hit it too hard, so I think he should have saved it.
But then he
Yeah.
made a good save after that.
He did
Yeah.
with the Sane one, so I was happy with the performance, to be fair. And obviously, our penalty takers did alright. David Luiz smashing it in the post, bit unlucky, but
It's one of them ones of David Luiz where like
he
you-
don't miss pens usually, so
you can't really be annoyed at him because he does actually turn up with the goals when you need him.
Mm.
But
plays-
what was your take on the Kepa thing? Because
well, at the end of the day, I think if the manager calls you off, you've got to come off. I mean, I understand the situation was, obviously, I've heard the Sarri interview afterwards, like he said about there's a misunderstanding because obviously he had cramped twice in the game. I don't know how a keeper gets cramped.
keeper.
He's
Twice?
standing around. And I understand obviously that you want to take him off, 1 because of that, and obviously 2 because he thought Caballero was a great penalty taker and knows a Man City team.
That's what I said. The biggest problem was it didn't make any sense to not bring him off. The second he makes the substitution hand gesture, the call, and Caballero's got his kit off, he has to come on. He literally has to come on. And I think I was saying I wanted to vent about it because I previously liked Kepa, and don't get me wrong, I still think he's a great talent, really good football player. But you don't disrespect your manager like that.
No.
Your manager makes a decision, you come off the pitch.
He's
Simple
under
as.
the pressures is at the moment. So.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a chance that Sarri potentially kind of has now said that to make it look like the dressing room's a bit more under control, because surely the thought was going through his mind of the last time that Caballero was in a League Cup final, he saved 3
Yeah.
penalties. He used to be at
Yeah.
City.
Yeah.
So
And
I feel like why is Kepa even considering telling his manager that he's not coming
Well,
off?
I
and
I
do-
do
get subbed?
feel for Kepa a little bit though, because he's a young player. Like in a cup final, it's a big occasion for him, and he wants to be the hero in the penalty shootout.
but-
Don't go down twice.
he
Then
goes
it's
down.
3 minutes to the end.
He goes down, waves over to the
Yeah.
bench, saying, "Bring some medical team on." And then surely that's got to be an indication if your keeper's not saying he's fully fit
Yeah.
for the penalty shootout.
You don't want him
You don't want-
in the
yeah.
penalty
No.
shootout.
And I think as well with the Sarri thing, with him saying it's a misunderstanding. If you look at the scenes of him picking stuff up, throwing it, almost walking down
Oh,
the
yeah,
tunnel,
flips
all
Yeah.
that,
Flips
and then
out.
all of a sudden coming, oh no, it was just a bit of a misunderstanding. It's
Yeah, I
like,
don't
no,
believe
you've
that.
gone back and someone said to you,
Calm
calm
down.
the situation down, and it just made him out to look like a mug. It really has.
I know.
They were saying in the commentary, in the pundits were saying afterwards, they feel so bad for him. I do.
Because it was
Yeah.
literally that was probably the best game Chelsea have played under
Yeah.
Sarri, potentially. It was one of the better performances that they see.
Apart from the 2-0 when we beat beat Man City 2 at home, obviously.
But no one's going to be talking about it.
And like that, you've implemented Sarri's style exactly. Like it was one of the times where you've been watching Chelsea and you're like, oh, this is how Sarri wants to play.
This could work. Yeah.
But now all of the newspapers is going to be about Arrizabalaga.
I know.
And not Sterling.
Yeah, for a change.
Yeah. No, I don't know. What did you think though? Good experience going to Wembley again?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good final, to be fair. I think first half, I say they pinned us back, which I expected anyway, but I thought we defended quite well. And then I think second half, we took it to them and we were better team second half. I mean, Kante missing that shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally went to the toilet, came back, and I was standing just outside the tunnel, saw it, and like, oh, Jesus Christ.
To be fair, a few Chelsea questions for you would be like, what's your take on the Kante thing?
Yeah, obviously the same as everyone. Do you know what I mean? Kante should be playing defensive midfielder. I understand what Sarri means when he says that in his style of play, he wants to play Kante in the more kind of attacking midfielder role because
Jorginho.
Kante's got Jorginho, but Kante playing like in the front two in the field because he's got that pace, and I have seen glimpses of him doing well, making those runs. I think when we played Palace, he scored that goal where Luis chipped it over, he chested it down, just put it in. But he's the best defensive midfielder in the world. You can't play out of position. And at the end of the day, I think a manager's ability to adapt when things are going wrong is what makes a manager great. Conte did it in terms of formation when he was in charge of Chelsea when we won the league. He was playing a different formation, and he changed to 5 at the back after that 10 games, won the league then. Sarri's so stubborn, he won't change it, and we're just losing games because of it.
I just think when he says, I like having that technical player in the deep role where Jorginho can...
Yeah.
Surely if you just play two players, like Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Jorginho, either side of Kante sitting deeper, you can still use the technical abilities to play the ball out.
I know.
And then, Sarri, you want him to stay or...?
Well, I don't know. I do want him to stay because I think give him an extra season, it could change. And the main reason I don't want him to be sacked, it's not because actually of Sarri, it's more because I don't want to keep this kind of mentality of just sacking the manager because the players, as soon as you start losing games, players are like, it doesn't matter, get a new manager.
Yeah, and it deters managers from coming to the club.
I mean, don't get me wrong, obviously it works. We've been in like 15 finals the past 16 seasons, but as a Chelsea fan, it's not what I want to see. I want a manager to stay for 3+ seasons.
Yeah, and you want to be pushing for the league every year, not pushing for the title one season and then having 3 seasons of having to go from 6th, 4th, 3rd.
Exactly. You want a manager to know the club in and out, not just come in and think, oh, you're right, how's it going? Like, I'm just here for a bit, see you later.
Yeah, as soon as I'm not doing what you want, just all of you kick off and I'll be sacked anyway.
How much money are they losing? I know it's not a problem for Abramovich, but how much money are you losing from paying off managers?
But to be fair, like Sarri's on he's like the 8th highest paid manager in the Premier League or something. Like, so they don't actually pay the gaffers that much.
True,
and they normally sign shortish contracts.
It must still add up though. And I know that's not the big problem. The problem is you've got a manager.
Mourinho, to be fair. I think we still owe Mourinho like £6 million.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Mourinho's making a killing.
And the final one would be Kovacic, Barkley, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Who's the kind of third midfielder that you would want to be playing? Because for me, I feel like the last 2 games I've been watching Barkley, he's just not been on the ball really. And then Kovacic is just another defensive midfielder really, in a 3 of...
Yeah, I mean, anyway, for me, Barkley's an attacking midfielder, yeah. He plays a similar way that Frank Lampard plays. Like, he likes to move forward with the ball. He's good at running with teams. His finishing with both feet is great. So he needs to play in formation like a 4-2-3-1 where he can play attacking midfielder. Where Barkley gets caught out is when he has defensive responsibilities. He's not that great at tracking back. He can do it, but he gets caught in the ball too much. He needs to be in a role where he can just focus on having shots, playing the balls.
Again, truly, Sarri should be looking at that and going, I've got 2 holding midfielders and I've got 1 number 10. Why don't I play 4-3-3 with a number 10?
He's the most stubborn man I've ever met in my life. Not that I've ever met him.
He's pretty stubborn though.
I also think like Jorginho, Kante and Kovacic, there's not any goals in that midfield really. And that puts even more pressure on Hazard because they're always like, there's already loads of pressure on Hazard to get the goals and be the difference, and you need some help from midfield as well.
I would like to see Loftus-Cheek and Barkley give them more game time playing together because I think if you get them playing right, you can play Loftus-Cheek as more box-to-box midfielder and having Barkley more attacking midfielder. I think that could work well, but at times when we played Europa League, they've been a bit of a shambles together because I think they're just kind of similar players in a lot of ways. So.
Yeah. You need Jorginho to get injured.
That's what I was thinking. Break his leg.
Yeah, Kante's playing holding mid, and suddenly you're winning all the games, and Sarri's like, maybe I don't like the technical player playing there.
It is annoying as well because you can see. I know it's not favouritism; it doesn't really work like that in football. But if he brought Jorginho from Napoli, you can obviously see why he's playing him. So I don't know.
The worrying thing is, what if Kante ends up leaving? Because I imagine that you don't even realise how important Kante is to you because he makes that role where you don't always notice how good of a player he is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
it's natural for you to not
I
notice him.
I don't think he will leave. I think he'll have another season at least. But I mean, I can see the attraction. I think I listened to your podcast last week when you talk about PSG. They'd offer him stupid money. Do you know what I mean? He'd be back in France, so obviously back in his home country.
I think that's the worrying one. Would be PSG rather than like the likes of Madrid, because
with Verratti as well, they need a replacement there.
Yeah.
Just a quick one on. I know we mentioned Puel earlier. Ted's very happy. I'm very happy. Looms is very happy. But we're the same distance from the relegation zone as we are the position 7. Well, 7 position. So it's not.
We can understand why Puel's gone, really. Yeah. 1 point from the last 21 available.
That's incredible.
It's not good enough. Like some of our results, like we've lost to Palace twice. We've lost at home to Cardiff, at home to Southampton. We've lost to Newport County. Like, it's just not good enough. The players aren't playing for Puel. Like, there's something wrong. You tell the players aren't happy. Like, something needed to change.
It looked like a similar thing to United, where you were looking at the team and you were saying, and everyone you're also talking to about is saying, why isn't he playing these players this way? Yeah. And at the time when United were doing it, you were saying, you'd be thinking to yourself, surely I don't know better than Mourinho does, though, because like it's Jose Mourinho. And then Solskjaer comes in and plays the players where they're supposed to be playing, and suddenly they're doing so much better. Equally, if Leicester play the players that, if Maddison getting benched for games where he's quite literally your most technical player, like he's the most creative of the players that you've got, and you're looking and you're thinking, how is this guy getting paid to do this?
But this is what I think. Because the backroom staff, I also think probably disagreed the way Puel was lining up the team. Like I said, if we come out, line up how every single fan wants us to, and then beat Brighton, that literally could not explain any more to you the reason he's gone.
Puel is the problem. Yeah. I think, like, I'm biased obviously, but we've definitely got
really, are you?
We've definitely got one of the best squads outside the top 6. I think maybe the best.
Yeah,
I think the start of the season is the best.
There's no excuses. Like, we've got young players. We should be moving forward, but we're just taking backwards steps all the time. It's like if you play Maddison behind Vardy in the number 10 position, they're going to get a connection. He's going to get better, but he's playing him on the left. And then he played him like swapping with Tielemans in like holding midfield next to Ndidi against Palace. Like, why are you playing Maddison holding midfield? What are you doing?
Yeah, if you compare us to a team like Wolves on paper,
I'd say Everton are maybe the only club that looked better on paper.
I think Everton are Wolves and then us. But I don't know.
We're a younger team though.
Let's look forward. Rodgers or Allardyce? If they're the only
Rodgers or Allardyce.
No, I think Benitez is one that should definitely be looked at by.
Yeah, I don't think he'll leave Newcastle.
No, I don't. I think that's the only thing. I don't.
Rodgers is more likely. I've seen a lot more about Rodgers, and apparently we're going to offer like $6 million or something for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rodgers would want to come. Obviously, I'm biased again.
I think he'll take it. I think it's a bit of stalemate staying at.
Yeah, and what else has he got to prove at Celtic? Like the other teams around him are getting better, and like he can't really do anything more. He's won the league so many times and won the cups. Like, what can you do there? And I think he's still got something to prove in the Premier League after he went off with Liverpool, because like they bottled the league with Dwight Gale hat-trick, and I feel like he's still got something to prove.
Yeah, agreed.
But I do feel like Benitez, if he doesn't get any money, he's going to be good, because
I'd love Rafa Benitez.
It's been long enough now where everyone's been saying if Benitez doesn't get any money, he's going to go, and then they make like a £12 million signing, and suddenly it's like, oh, I'll stay for a little bit longer. Then I think
he brought in Solomon Rondon, like.
But no, the thing is though, is he's on loan at the minute, and they want Rondon. Benitez wants Rondon to stay. Rondon wants to stay at Newcastle, and all of the fans love him. So realistically, I feel if Ashley blocks that transfer, that could be kind of the straw that breaks the camel's back with Benitez, because he'll just be like, we know that this guy works.
Mm-hmm.
He has just got an older Alma one in there, hasn't he? The £21 million signing from was it South America? Alma one, and he
he
played
very well.
He played very well yesterday.
Yeah.
The chip hit the post. Newcastle obviously won 2-0, but they hit the post I think 4 times.
Yeah,
they've been playing a little bit better as well, to be fair, the last few weeks.
Yeah, I just feel like he's got to get frustrated at some point, and we're the kind of club that will give him financial backing, because we know that he's not going to waste it. Like, he knows what he's doing. So
European experience as well. So obviously, I'd imagine you're hoping to get Europa League at some point.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to have a manager that's got a bit of European experience like that. Well, European pedigree as well.
Yeah, but I don't get it. You see a lot of people like, oh, Leicester at their level, like, what do they expect? It's got nothing to do with that. It's like, if we've got great players and then you're just playing them out of position, we're not achieving our potential. Like, it's all right to not be happy with where we are in the league.
Yeah.
Benitez has already proven that he'll go to other clubs as well, and Rodgers has already managed teams like Swansea, and Celtic obviously aren't well, they are a European mega club, but they're not doing anything in the Champions League, Europa League kind of thing.
Yeah, Benitez is definitely a manager to take on a project. Do you know what I mean? He's definitely someone who commit to a club for a while, and say he'll commit to it if he's got the backing of the board and a bit of investment. It doesn't need a lot of investment.
Yeah, I just think compared to the other names, I think it's probably the most realistic. So
definitely not Allardyce.
No. 100% record for England though. Is Salah underperforming against top clubs? Go on, boys. Get on with it.
That's actually not what I'm debating. I think just underperforming in general.
Yeah,
is what
I'd agree.
Do you think he's having a good season right
Yes.
now? Like as good of a season as last season, kind of thing.
Maybe not as good as, but last season was crazy. It's like Liverpool was scoring a hatful of goals every game, and he was just like unreal.
I do think he's underperforming this season. I don't feel like when you're watching him, he looks quite like the same player that was last season. And he, at the end of the day, mate, he won Player of the Year last year, and people were saying he should win the Ballon d'Or. People were annoyed. People were annoyed he wasn't in the top 3 for the Ballon d'Or, and people were saying he should be like he was pretty good odds to win it.
I don't think he was ever realistically going to win the Ballon d'Or, especially with Modric at the World Cup.
I think it overperformed last season, in my opinion. I think he's a great player, but I don't think he's in that elite level.
I think people's expectations just went through the roof when he had that season, but he's top goal scorer in the Premier League. If he scores in his next 2 games, he'll be the fastest ever player to 50 goals in the Premier League.
But that's last season as well, though, isn't it?
But yeah, and this season he's top goal scorer in the Premier League this season.
I think it's a hard one because I understand exactly what you're both saying, but at the same time, I think it is hard to argue anything against it because, like Ted said, he is still the top. I know he's joint with Aguero, and I know Aguero's played less. But he is still arguably the first or second best player in the Premier League. But like you're saying, for a team like Liverpool who are just bagging ridiculous amounts of goals, you think he would be scoring more. And because you compare everything he does to last season, you've got to draw conclusions. But
I think it's understandable that he's scoring less this season because Liverpool is scoring less and they're conceding less. They've changed their style of play. They've lost 1 game this season. They're top of the league.
I just don't think they're finishing quite as many of their chances, though, mate. Genuinely, I understand that a lot of the ideas before the game is that if they don't concede, then they don't have to score as many. But surely you can't think that Salah is finishing as many of his chances as he did last year.
But he got way more chances last year.
But that's what I'm saying. The same percentage of them, you think that he's still finishing the same amount now as he was last year.
Yeah, probably.
I think definitely not. Definitely not.
I think
I've seen him miss quite a bit of shit this year that he didn't miss last year.
He misses chances this season where you're like, wow. And also, with him being top of the league, if you look at the amount of appearances that other players have, he does actually have like substantially more than them. So he scored 17 in 27 appearances this season. He's only come on as a sub once. Aguero's only started 21 games. Kane's only started 22 games. Son has only started 17 games.
Yeah, but Son's performing out of his mind. Like he's having an amazing season. But I think I just don't understand how you can criticise Salah. He's top of the league, top goal scorer. He's scored 49 goals in 62 games.
7 assists as well.
Here's a question for you: if Liverpool win the league, do you still? Is this still the same? Is it still an argument?
If Liverpool win the league, then Salah's stepped up though, and that's the be all and end all of that conversation. Because at the minute they're not necessarily doing the things that they're supposed to do because they don't have a star man that's going to take it. They've got big games from now till the end of the season. They've got big games in the Champions League and in the Premier League. You need your star man to be stepping up.
Do you not think they can stay exactly how they're playing now
and win the league? I don't think so.
No,
I personally think City will leap them.
I genuinely don't know if City won't win another game. Won't
lose another game.
Yeah, but
win every game.
Their run into the end of the season is much easier, is it not?
Yeah,
Cities or Liverpool's?
Cities.
Yeah,
I think.
I'm not.
Well,
don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. But
everyone was talking about this game at Old Trafford being a tough one, but they're top of the league. They've lost 1 game. I know they've not. In recent weeks, they've not been playing the amazing football, but if they go beat Watford 3-0, Salah scores a hat-trick, everyone's just back on. Oh yeah, Liverpool could win this.
City have got Spurs and United, top 6 left to play.
City got United away as well, haven't it? Yeah, so.
But Liverpool play Chelsea, Spurs. Obviously, the Merseyside derby is another big game for them as well. That could go either way. And the thing is Liverpool didn't make a marquee signing attacker in summer, and they didn't need to because obviously their front 3 is incredible. But that's them saying, you are our star man and you are going to be doing the same thing as you were doing last season. And he's just not. If you have a look at the stats of his goals against anybody that's half decent, I understand he's top goal scorer, but Like Ozil performs against the bottom 10.
Yeah, but they're playing completely differently. This is the thing. Like they're not. Last season, if they were playing whoever, they'd go out and try and if you score 4, we'll score 5. But this time, if we score 1, you're not scoring.
Okay, so against the smaller teams, but what against the bigger teams? Are they just going for Salah just
They've lost
don't
one
score?
game this season.
We're just focusing
They're
on
top
Salah
of
right
the league.
now.
Yeah, I know, but you can't say they're not performing against the sides around them when they're top of the league and they've lost one game.
Liverpool are performing defensively against the top teams. They are. Like, they're not conceding many goals against them, but their attackers have let them down in every game.
Yeah, but defences win titles.
What big game have you watched of Liverpool this season? You've been like, Salah's really played well today. Or even
Napoli,
played all right.
Napoli, when they needed to win and keep a clean sheet to go through the group stage, and he scored the winner.
To be fair, you could argue though, because of Salah's great performance last season, this season teams are targeting him like my mark.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
Like Luke Shaw yesterday had him in his pocket. Luke Shaw played really well.
Yeah,
yesterday.
he didn't have a good game yesterday, and I'm not saying like
you can suss players out.
Hazard only has 3 players on him every time he picks up the ball, though, and he's still.
I think that's different. I don't think you can compare Hazard to anyone else in the Prem.
Salah's a completely different player to Hazard as well.
Yeah, Hazard's supposed to be a ball player. Salah's supposed to be a goal scorer.
Yeah, he is a goal scorer. He's the top goal scorer in the Premier League.
I think we're going around in circles.
We'll see at the end of the season. Right now.
I just don't understand how you can criticise the top goal scorer in the Premier League. He's if he scores 1 goal, he's the fastest to 50 in the Premier League ever, and the top of the league. How can you criticise him?
I'm not criticising his form last season, where he scored how many of those Premier League goals did he score last season?
Well, he scored 17 this season.
So right now, obviously Salah might be top or whatever, but the remainder of the top goal scorers in the Prem are...
Yeah, but Aguero's playing in that Man City side.
Aguero,
score a hatful of goals every game.
Aguero, Aubameyang, Kane. Right? So Kane's been out for how long?
2 months.
Yeah. Aguero missed how many games?
Quite a few.
Aubameyang wasn't even starting that much, and when he did, he was playing on the left, and he scored 15 in like a significantly less games than.
Like Salah's had 1 good season, then you're like, Aguero's on the same goals as him, like the top of the goal scoring chart. So that's he should be ahead of him. Like
it's impressive, but I just feel like he's not having the same amount. Not as good of a season.
Yeah, but that's understandable because they're playing completely differently.
Yeah, both valid points. Points.
We could sit here all day and talk about it.
I want to move on to the boy, Jadon Sancho, again with a cracking goal. Have you seen his volley?
The technique.
You see Messi's volley as well, though.
Yeah.
That Messi goal was...
Sanchez better than
They're
Messi.
the same player, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Messi
has a poster of Sancho up in his room.
No, they were both very nice goals. Dortmund went on to win 3-2. I had a quick look at the game between Inter Fiorentina, maybe because I had a bet on it, but also maybe because it was a really good game. Fiorentina scored after 16 seconds.
Yeah, it was like 17 spots.
Then Inter pulled it back. Muriel scored to make it 3-2. One of the best free kicks I think I've ever seen. He couldn't have put it any more into the corner. Yeah. There was 2 questionable VAR decisions, like really, really questionable, and then they scored a penalty in the 101st minute. Yeah. So there was 11 minutes of stoppage time. The penalty got given in the 96th, and then they just somehow managed to add up 5 minutes worth of time. And the pressure that was on Thingy to make it 3-3 was ridiculous. But that was a great game.
It's mental when VAR makes a bad decision. It's like really frustrating. Yeah. Hazard against City yesterday.
He should have kept his flag down.
Do not understand why the referee flagged. Because when I was looking at it on the replay, Hazard did actually look onside, but I thought the linesman had been told don't flag.
That's usually how it works, isn't it? You're supposed to let it go on, and then if they score or miss, then they'll review it or whatever.
Yeah, if it's close. And it was very close.
Very close.
Yeah, I agree.
They just need to send the message to the referees like, this is what you do.
They need more training on VAR. I don't think it's ready for Premier League yet. I mean, I want it in the Premier League, but I think they're making too many mistakes. So.
The irritating thing is, how can it be being used in Italy and things like that for so long, and they've not managed to...
Yeah.
But I mean, we've got to
I think it's because I understand it's trying to aid the game. You're never, ever, ever... It's unrealistic to ever think you're going to get a VAR system that works 100% of the time, every time, because it's still down to someone has to make the decision. You can't put it down to a vote. You can't do anything. One person or 2 people, arguably, have to make the decision. So I think there's always faults in it, as long as there's an opinion based in football, and that's never going to change.
Especially the time frame they've got to do it. They really have to do a decision within 10 seconds.
Exactly, yeah.
That is pressure. Do you know
what I mean? It's definitely the right move for football, but like you said, I don't think it's Premier League ready, and I think they just need to keep working on it until they get to that point.
It'll get better.
But, Ted's 2, you got them?
Yeah, I got a couple ones for you. I thought I'd go for a little Chelsea theme this week. Firstly, you got the all-time appearance record for Chelsea, playing 795 games.
Wow.
What era is that?
1961 to 1980.
Oh,
So I mean, it's a little bit before our time. So I'll
I
let you
don't
off.
think I'll get
Bobby
this one.
Tamblyn.
It's not.
Oh, Dixon.
No,
Oh,
he's on there.
Where is he?
9th.
Right, go on then.
It's Ron Harris.
Ron.
Oh,
Everyone's
big Ron.
everyone's favourite Chelsea
Big
player.
Ron, yeah, my God.
795 games.
That is very,
over
very
19
impressive.
years.
Mm.
That's pretty
Yeah,
insane.
John Terry's third. He's 717.
Yeah.
I didn't realise how many he
he's
played.
right there, but he's not top.
Super French in
shot.
fourth. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. And then we got the goal scorers.
Yeah, Frank Lampard, 202.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then
Nicholas?
Is it Tamblyn and Dixon or Dixon and Tamblyn?
I ain't got it up, to be honest.
I think it's Tamblyn and Dixon. So
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Good stuff. Yeah, you can't deny Lampy up there. He's
Super
the
Frank.
boy, isn't he?
He's
is the
always
boy.
propping that up.
But yeah, great week of football. A couple of 0-0s, not the most exciting games all round. But like we said, we've got the double week and weekend coming up for Premier League.
Yeah, we've got to catch Loomsy up.
Just quick time confirmation that you did actually get that right. Top 3.
Top 3, yeah. Well played.
But yeah, thank you very much, Max, for coming on.
anytime.
Yeah,
Great
Thank you very
insight.
much, mate.
Been a
Great
pleasure.
insight on Chelsea. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye.
See you later.
So.